Hello students. So today we are going to start with the third chapter of the Pact with the Sun, and that is the Shepherd's Treasure. Actually, it's an Iranian folk tale. It's about a wise shepherd. Although he was uneducated, but he was very wise and helpful. So people used to visit him frequently just for taking advices and all. And the king of the country also decided to meet him in disguise. So let's move to the story then. So, in a village in Iran, there once lived a shepherd. He was very poor, and he was that much poor that he did not have his own cottage to live in. So, he had never been to school. Why? Because there were very few schools in those days. Though poor and uneducated, this shepherd was very wise actually. And he was helpful also. He understood people's sorrow and their problems. So many people came to him for advice. So one day the king of that country heard about the shepherd and he thought of meeting him. Disguised as a shepherd himself, riding on a mule, and he just came to the cave of the poor shepherd. There, the wise shepherd was already present and he just welcomed the king. Then he asked the king to take water and he shared many of the thoughts with the king. The king was very much impressed with the wisdom of the poor shepherd. So the king rested for the night in the cave only and was greatly impressed by his hospitality and his wise conversation. So, though still tired, the king decided to depart the next morning and he said, "Many thanks for your kindness to a poor traveler." This the king is saying to the shepherd. He is thanking the shepherd. "I have a long way to go. Permit me to live." So, as the king said so, the shepherd he just smiled and replied, "You are welcome and thank you, Your Majesty, for paying me the compliment of a visit." As the king listened this, he got astonished that how did the shepherd recognize me? He is indeed very wise, and the king was so much impressed by the wisdom of the shepherd that he appointed the shepherd as his governor. So, although he rose to power and dignity, but the shepherd remained as humble as ever. So, and people they used to love him for his wisdom, sympathy, and his goodness. He was kind and just to one and all. His fame as a fair and wise governor soon spread throughout the country. Then, what were the consequences of that? The governor of other provinces they grew terribly jealous of him, and they began to talk to the king against the poor shepherd. They said that he is very dishonest and he keeps some part of money with himself which he collects from the people as a tax, and some of them they used to indicate towards a iron chest which he used to carry always with him. Iron chest is a iron box. The shepherd used to carry that iron chest always with him only, and the other governors they start talking about that box also, that why he used to carry that box, and they were thinking then there was some money which he collects from the people. He used to contain all the money there in that box. So at first the king did not pay attention to these reports, but how long could he ignore such allegations? So he decided to ask about that iron chest also. And one day, the new governor, the shepherd, he was called to the palace for the inquiry about the iron chest. So the new governor, the shepherd, he just came riding on his camel and everyone was happy to see him. Everyone was delighted to see. Why everyone was happy? Because this time also he was carrying that iron chest along with him. And they were sure then this time he will be caught. What he used to contain in that iron chest, they all were eager to see that. But the king was very angry to see that iron chest. And he thundered. He just shouted, "Why do you always carry that iron chest with you? What does it contain?" The governor smiled. The shepherd smiled. And he asked his servant to bring in the chest. And he opened the chest. There, what was there in that chest? The chest was opened, no gold, no silver, no jewel, but an old blanket was there in that box, in that iron chest. So the shepherd has shown that old blanket to all with dignity and proud. And everyone was astonished to see that he is the governor of a district and why he used to carry such an old blanket along with him. The king also asked the same question, to which the shepherd replied with proud, "This blanket is my oldest friend. It will still protect me if at any time I need it. Your Majesty should wish to take away my new cloaks." Cloaks means whatever new clothes the king has provided to the governor. He's saying you can take those all, but I can't leave this old blanket of mine because this is my oldest friend. The king was very pleased with his answer, and the jealous governors, they also became embarrassed to hear his wise answer. Now they come to know that shepherd was indeed the humblest and the wisest person in the land. So how did the king reward the new governor? The king made him the governor of a much bigger district that very day. So this was all about the shepherd.